Yeah, so I guess that might be it for this segment. Thank you so much, Candace, for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure to have you come talk to us. Any last words you want to say to all the fans out there?
It's my honor to be here with you guys, and it's my first time I'm being on air in LCK. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
Yeah, you've got a picture in picture.
There you
That's
go.
a way to wish goodbye. So thank you very much to Candace for joining us. We'll get into game number 2 here between SKT and Hanwha Live. Pick and ban starting really soon. Of course, we will see you again, I'm sure, at Worlds and hosting. You are the host extraordinaire. I watch on in awe when you just ask questions, people speak fast, and you're super fast translating between Chinese, English, throwing in other language. You're a superstar, so thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Candace.
Bye.
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 Well, that was a lot of fun to have Candace joining us here. As always good fun as well to just bring in new guests and try new things here on the English stream, the extra exclusive content that only you global viewers got to have. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe we can do some extra stuff like this in the future.
What is it with Valdez days? You get ill, we get the G-Sun cast. You're casting, we get the Candace special guest. We're lucky. We're always blessed when Valdez is around. Sadly, FLICKR won't be blessed with another Nico game. It's going to be first banned. This could be a pretty consistent trend, but enough pop-off games on champions like the LeBlanc, and maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just that FLICKR is back.
Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of moments in Rift Rivals that get you thinking. You know, you're like, everybody wants to define it as, you know, black or white. It's like, is he back or is he not, right? Whereas I think it's, you know, the slow changes over the course of time, just like with any other pro gamer. You know,
Are you
FLICKR
sure?
himself even having highs and lows.
Are you telling me the people I read who said FLICKR never was might have been off the boil a little bit? There's some people like, was he ever that good? And I'm like,
What?
people do say stuff like that.
They're just trying to be edgy. That doesn't even make sense.
I mean, he's famous enough to have edgelords. It should be said. The hot take culture will never go away.
I mean, if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong, right?
They make you famous. A famous philosopher once told me.
Who's that?
I forget which person wrote that song.
The
actually.
famous philosopher? Notorious B.I.G. I don't know if it was him.
Well, it seems like Hanwha Live are setting up for a first pick Azir. The Corki ban, usually a spoiler for that. These Karthus bans, really interesting in summer, but are a reflection of where the meta goes right now. A lot of stuff open, but teams have been kind of willing to dole out Lux and Yuumi and picks like that so far this week.
You mentioned the Rift Rivals meta kind of shaking things up. All the top teams in the LCK discussing strategy, and how to play against them, and just what's really strong on 9-13. But still a developing state here. As Yuumi gets banned out, that does leave the Aatrox once again. We'll see if Hanwha wants to take that. But Azir, a very popular pick nowadays in the LCK, getting first picked even a lot nowadays, was first picked in the first game of the first set.
And we mentioned in the same vein, you see a Corki ban, you assume an Azir first pick with its power level. It's over and above Tahm Kench to hide a Tahm Kench Sona, and even though it's effort in, Mata out, we still get the sort of lane they would be running at Rift Rivals. Tahm Kench Varus are going to go for lane supremacy, level 2 onwards. Zyra Kahn, very common answer to this. You can also go Lux Sivir, whichever lane Hanwha Live is appreciated.
You gotta love it. The bottom lane that works so well together. Both of them over 60% win rate. Whereas on the other side, Lux and Jarvan gonna be taken here.
A little bit surprising to see sangyoon not take his 80 carry. The lanes that have good synergy with the Lux usually pop, but the other ones aren't necessarily as reliable. Lux Kai'Sa, for example. Yes, you can think of the best of it, but the worst of it does cost you. A lot of options available, but no real obvious counters into the Azir. Will draw most likely the FLICKR Akali, can work well as the game goes on, but early priority, very likely for Lava, if it does end up being mid lane Akali.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about picking up Akali here. It's able to be flexed, and I mean, you have a super strong bottom lane. Gotta like what they've done with the draft so far. Hanwha, though, able to pick up that Azir pretty early on after the Corki ban. We might see that become more and more popular on blue side. We saw that in the first game of the day as well out of KT. It worked out well for them. BDD styling on that pick. But now a lot of the extra stuff that is very powerful is going to be taken away. The Kai'Sa and the Kennen from SKT, and then Aatrox on the side of Hanwha Life.
See what is actually being kind of jostled for on the side of SKT. It almost feels like the Aatrox was the obvious one. Already is going to be banned away from Hanwha Life. Kahn has been on Camille duty most of recent memory, but you are always concerned to early pick such a pick. Might be looking for a further flex. We'll wait and see, as they do have a red side last pick. Safest choice here would be to take a jungler and then reevaluate. Of the junglers available, Clid's Lee Sin obviously leaps off the page as an availability. But this would be something fun. This would be something good.
You can only have it one way or the other. It's either fun or good. In the book of Papa Smithy, and right down the middle there, 50%. Lee Sin wins and he loses.
Feel the same way about casters. You're the good caster, I'm the fun caster.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Agreed.
Well, Hanwha Life Esports, they don't want this second game to be for fun. They want to actually be able to put up a level of competition in the game. And okay, we're going to see the off-rumored, but actually locked in Enchanter plus Kalista lane. So much more about frontlining as Lux and getting the Fate's Call out, rather than perhaps Wombo engaging herself to death. Bit of a different look here. I'm not always a huge fan of lanes like this. And with last pick, it seems like Thal is going to be an ultra comfort on his Vladimir.
This does give SKT the option to flex. Let's see if they do that with Akali into the mid lane and Jace top.
Would give them that priority lane for the Jace. And Vladimir kind of gets one go in the mid game to try and all in. If it doesn't work, it can be very heavy cost for it. So Kahn's Jace probably going to be the result here. Now, FLICKR could be on Jace. We've seen quite a lot of mid Jace around the world and in the LCK. But because it's Kahn, you just give him the benefit of the doubt. Assume that he will be jumping on the Jace. We'll know at 20 seconds for the final confirmation, as Zephyr just wants to get through 2 games without someone questioning his draft from the fans.
When you have this many fans, it's hard not to be questioned either one way or the other, right? And you do have to say, though, that the drafts have been looking a bit good today. I've been happy with them myself.
On the side of SKT, mostly a 4-1 comp built around Siege. The Akali can hit the side lane and the Jace joins Varus for some safe siegey fun times. Can just roll through and get Snowball going if Clid has a big day out on the Lee Sin. That's the hope there. Meanwhile, you see Vladimir, you kind of work out the rest. On the side of Hanwha Life Esports, will throw them up. Vladimir, Azir, team fighting can happen, but they can fight early. It doesn't have to be when Vladimir is ready. He can buy some cooldown reduction. And Azir and Kalista are usually online early, but it's the Kalista Lux lane that potentially can fall prey. There is no guarantee that you can push up and be aggressive around this lane and then always have the Fate's Call for disengage. Those timings can be disrupted. That will be Clid's job in the early game.
He's going to be looking towards that bottom lane. Azir going to be a relatively hard gank, but we'll see how much pressure Kahn wants to put up in the top side too. We've seen crazy Jace stuff at level 1, 2, 3, where you just shut him down entirely. That's going to be his job up in the top lane. And here we go, guys. Game number 2 for SKT versus Hanwha Life. Alrighty, here we go into the second game. And if it looks anything like game 1, might be the last game of the night as well.
Hanwha Life's first goal should be stay in the competition post 15, because it was even before turret plates went down, and then the 13 of 15 available turret plates being picked up by the side of SKT. Kind of knew that one was going to be done nice and early. Hanwha Life they've got some places to fight around, and they've got a Jarvan, and let's see how bonO looks on a jungler away from his usual wheelhouse. As Thal, you know what? He's going to get a couple of transfusions in, but obviously not the most damage.
Yeah, the Doran shield coming through.
We should talk about it, because if you remember, our resident Vladimir expert, Nuguri, doesn't like Doran's shield Vlad anymore. He is almost always onto the Doran's Ring start. Doran's Ring 2 potions that people look at and laugh about. The same people that complain about Cassiopeia not having boots. You know who you are. But the reason why it's relevant is, like, why not Doran's shield? Because if you think about it, you're like, all right, well, Jace is ranged, hits Vladimir. Vladimir can't really fight back in the health trades with low levels and transfusion, and you get that cool passive that gives you all the health back. Think of the synergy. But what you forget is that long-standing nerf that people don't remember is that when you're high health, actually the active gives you very little healing. It does scale with how much missing health you have. Right now, seeing bonO come top lane, it's a level 1 Thal, so he's not going to do much.
Trying to get the flash here, and they will.
I wonder if he needed to flash. I mean, you understand why he flashed, but level 1 Vlad realistically does maybe 200 damage with Q auto and can't really do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, you think you get knocked up, you'll take a large chunk of damage from the Jarvan, of course, but then maybe you just knock him away.
Especially
like,
level 2 Vlad, you're like, all right, the slow, or all right, a bit more AoE damage.
Yeah.
Level 1 Vlad does hilariously no damage. Still, that was the decision. Safety first from Kahn. I think that's probably fine overall. But because at high health values, you get so little value out of the Doran shield, you know what happens, Valdez? The Jace, a champion who can manic your waves and freeze them, goes for a slow push, and you get turret dive because you're low health and he's not actually proccing the Doran shield. So you have 2 potions to actually get the healing while the wave is being frozen on you. Is the reason the Doran shield has gone out. It's that double potion that makes people prefer.
Clid running while also damaging the Rift Scuttler. Actually gonna be saved there, bonO, from a bunch of damage. Let's see who wins the smite fight, as bonO is going to stay on in here. Actually gets the smite as well. Thal does pretty much nothing on the backside, and Clid is looking for that kill. At least is going to get the pool. Backs away, but bonO got the Rift Scuttler, so win for him.
FLICKR going CS for CS to win in the mid lane as well. Pretty low on health. bonO's here.
Ooh, FLICKR did take a lot of damage, but it's a Kali. bonO realistically is just looking to take the crab down on the bottom side.
And we've seen some pretty good Akali play today. Rascal had a great Akali game earlier where, yes, he fell down a couple of times, but he tanked the most aggro possible for a top lane Akali without just chain feeding. bonO, he's feeling assertive. He got double scuttle, which obviously feels great. As the Jarvan, who much prefers the single target camps. On side, Tom Kench-Varus, usually known for overextending, but I guess with the top side party, Effort and Teddy have decided to be safety first on the bottom side.
Taking a bunch of damage from the Lux. Not a very fun time overall, but the Biscuiteer taken by the Varus. He's got a shield of his own. Lots of shields going around here. And we saw 5 stopwatches the last game by KT. This time we get 4 stopwatches out of Hanwha Life.
It's not quite 94 minutes, please, Riot, help us, but if we get back to 8 to 10 stopwatches, we gotta do something about this free stopwatches. Talked about it in our first series, but I'm a really big fan of 600 gold for an effect that either wins you a team fight or actually keeps you alive or sometimes does nothing and you waste it. It's a very high skill expression in using the 600 gold stopwatch. The freebie one is the one where either it's coming online too early or the other runes suck so much that why not get a stopwatch? When the utility tree is taken by 5 out of 5 people or close to, tells you that there needs to be more power in the other trees.
Yeah, I mean, you can only nerf it so many times, right? What is it going to be, like a 20-minute stopwatch or something like that? I mean, I'll probably check for 9:14 minutes.
It's 12 and a half minutes free boots, right? Like,
yeah.
Things have gotten later and later. Kali doing a thing. She doesn't need no stopwatch to be able to get away from aggro. Speaking of aggro, Clid saw the mid lane Jarvan and reads the pace of the Jarvan very well.
Yeah. It's kind of like a style move there, you know? It's like, hey, by the way, I've got a read on you, and if you hit it, then maybe they think there's a ward there.
Speaking of style, Execution is calling with his first 800 gold, means lots of priority. The top side, Clid misses the Q.
And the E. He hit the auto there, though, onto Agatha. Agatha, of course, the blue side Gromp.
If he missed the auto, I would have been very concerned. This isn't TFT against the autos, you know?
Yeah, not quite. You think we should add dodge chance back into the game?
No.
Cries in Jax.
I was a big fan of the Nimbleness rune, in case you weren't playing all those years ago, and I think that's probably a lot of fans when we talk about 2019, but Nimbleness was a rune in the mastery tree, I guess a mastery rather than a rune.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's a lot of Thal. That meant that if you dodged, you actually got a 10% movement speed bump.
Yeah.
So Jax loved that rune. Lava looking for a lane gank with bonO, but FLICKR not obliging.
I mean, bonO's been here like 4 times. It's just...
We've seen a lot of let's
Getting
keep
old.
ganking Akali in the games today, and I hope people stop that one. It doesn't work.
I mean, it really does not, especially in the mid lane. Akali, very safe. The only time you're really going to have it happen is if her Shroud is down. And her ult, probably.
Using the priority they have to try to steal away blue. They don't get it.
Oh boy. Clid just says no. In the face of 4 Hanwha Life members, he stood up and used his smite button. Whereas bonO did not have a smite, I don't think, as it's still on cooldown right now.
Worth noting that it's a relatively low value blue buff for SKT. FLICKR does like it because Akali goes through a lot of energy, but in the scope of champions, it's definitely not quite Yasuo, but it's there. Close to comes to blue buff validity, and Clid is going to add insult upon injury. He's looking for the double blue buff.
They seem pretty good at rushing down these big camps.
Does he have smite? He does.
And you can see the flag comes down as bonO kind of knew something was up, but not much he could do. Just has the blue buff stolen under his nose.
And whether you want to call it Clid's performance or how SKT have kind of played around their jungler, that is my big takeaway from today, is that in the first game, made some really good calls with late invades, 3-buff and Olaf. Olaf never does anything. In this game, everything Clid has done follows logic. There's a plan. They're trying to attack different parts of the map and reacting to them well. And it seemed like a disconnect between Clid and SKT before Rift Rivals, so it's a good look with him back in form and making some good moves.
First Drake of the game being taken down here by bonO.
FLICKR has an illegal amount of CS in this matchup with how many ganks he's tanked.
It's just like every gank, he just kind of walks away underneath the shroud.
How many CS has Clid even missed? That's 100 already.
It's hard to pull that off at 920, right? It's
You don't have camps to inflate your score like you can with mid laners later.
what?
Blind check.
Yeah. Ends up making it happen. Yeah.
Someone knows perfect CS numbers, I always forget. FLICKR walking up, being a jerk. Getting this much control and presence in mid lane. This definitely feels like nameplates on for SKT, and FLICKR's been up and down, I would say, in 2019. Definitely had some games where we were reminded of victories past. Gonna watch the replay of the blue buff steal here. Is there anything significant about this that we missed? I guess they wanted a pass off. bonO didn't want to smite it.
운수 좋은 날이네. 그래,
Today's a lucky day.
Okay. It was all about the reaction cam, it turns out.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like he just landed a Q, right? So that's kind of nice. As landing the EQ here is bonO. Looking to get on top of Kahn, but Thal just cannot follow up, and bonO ends up having to walk away.
Kahn was so comfortable to not flash there. It looked like he was trying to make sure his model was next to the wall, because you can be body blocked and then fat flash really easily in a scenario like that. But actually, unlike the level 1 where it felt like he perhaps could have not used his flash, quite impressive for him to know his limits there. Really well done.
How about this rotation? We got FLICKR down to the bottom lane. Teddy going mid, Effort also hanging down here. And of course, this is because the Rift Herald is being taken and FLICKR has teleport, whereas Teddy does not.
Oh, we fighting, boys.
We're getting in there, but Clid in a bit of trouble, but Effort able to get on top of him and get the Devour down. Challenging Smite comes in, but bonO is not going to be able to land that damage. Clid flashes away. This is very heavily SKT favored. First blood going to come in. Key is going to survive thanks to the shield. Kahn looking for the accelerated shock blast. This is going to flash forward here as the stopwatch is actually going to block him from the kill. Ends up being only the one, but they also got the Rift Herald. As that shock blast misses, SKT off to another good start.
They make the proactive map movement. They're there first, and they also trade up in the overall fight. Rift Herald going to be jammed down at 12 minutes. Seems like FLICKR, the rich get richer.
I'm just being reminded of how hard it was to cast the 8.1 meta where everybody had a stopwatch. It's like, oh, the guy's going to die, and then he stopwatches. And that happened like 3 or 4 times in that one fight.
We remember it as the debated meta, patch 8.1, also the Resident Sleeper meta, as we go in on what was always going to be a really hard commit when Hanwha Live went there. The effort comes in nice and early. That's alone. He wasn't even bringing in a friend. Clid gets up. bonO parades his spells pretty poorly, all things considered, and Clid is able to flash away. And then from there, FLICKR just wishes he had his ultimate over one more time, because there was an easy double kill. If Akali's perfect execution was up, they almost hit a max range EQ to get even more.
Oh, so close, but just denied and debated over and over and over again. Gone close to landing that second one, but now bonO's in the jungle. Actually, who's stuck in here with who? As Effort's even super deep on the front side of this one.
Still has his flash up, so doesn't have to respect an Emperor's Divide. Wasn't available. Only now came off cooldown. Lane assignments here, pretty happy from the side of SKT. Kali can shadow and work out where she wants to go. They want to keep invading. SKT are relentless. No free lunches for Hanwha Live Esports.
Maybe they learned something from the LPL coming in here and just non-stop aggression, really trying to get in their face. As Key ends up having to take the red buff. That's really not who you wanted on, but at least they get it for their team.
Couldn't tell from the hue. It kind of looked like double buffs, but we know the red definitely came in. Clid continues to play around. Very easy for Teddy to walk up and make things happen. You're very happy if Kalista comes mid lane to match you this early in the game, because definitely Hurricane is far away, and Kalista won't have as much lane control in a short lane, as FLICKR continues to, we'll call it test his limits.
Hey, I think he wanted to push Thal away and maybe take down the control ward, but Thal was just too confident in his face, so FLICKR not going to risk it there.
No Protobelt. Old Zonias, I guess you would call it, being built by the Vladimir.
Old Zonias.
It used to be needlessly large rod plus a Seeker's
Arm
Guard,
okay.
but
Yeah.
Now it's going to be a...
I thought you meant like some old Zonia's build
No.
something.
It's going to be old Zonia's build path, but it's probably going to be some combination of... Could be Death Cap, but I guess more recently it's been the Spellbinder, and then eventually Zonia's will come out. You just never see needlessly large rod and Seeker's Arm Guard next to each other anymore.
I miss that old build. Either way, SKT just going to come on in here and say this is now our map. FLICKR just pushing him away. Oh, the perfect dodge with the Shuriken. FLICKR really just trying to style on him, and that he will. The one-on-one is, he makes it look so easy. As not sure where bonO was going, trying to go for the steal, I suppose, but he gets taken out as well.
Riot Production, we need to see the FLICKR face cam there, because there's a smirk, I think, somewhere in that play. The moment you know you just completely outplayed your opponent. Lava, old trainee of SK Telecom T1, was their 80 carry trainee next to aiming a few years ago. He got punked. Nice play from FLICKR, gets the solo kill. Everything sliding into position, and it's not quite as one note as game number 1, but does feel like a one-horse race, Valdez.
Kind of just, yeah, I mean, some of the desperate attempts from the side of Hanwha Life are not feel-good moments. They're definitely just mood killers for sure, right? bonO trying to go in there and just, you know, misses the smite, dies immediately. The one-on-one where you're just getting styled on by FLICKR, it just, you know, 2 moments like that alone, as we're going to get the slow zoom in on the play.
So opens with the Gunblade, walks away, throws the Shuriken, and the Shuriken toss, if you remember, the second part does go over the Emperor's Divide. Very nice. Well, that was a very solid victory. We're going to see the other side of the fight. Clid got in, got out. Well, everything's falling into place.
Yeah, I thought it was just bonO running in because we were watching the FLICKR play, but it was actually teleport and position taken by Hanwha just to have it snatched away by Clid. And that's pretty good. You know, when a team is behind and they have double mountain and you get out of position, it's like, well, you don't want to really let that happen, whereas, you know, trading mountains makes it a lot easier for SKT to handle.
SKT got him exactly where they want him. Looking to close out this one 2-0 if they continue the approach they're taking. He might be forgiven for thinking that was lethality Varus. Took a big chunk out of Key, but he's going to pop a potion to Squishy. Is the Lux creeping forward vision so that this siege is as safe as possible, and it doubles down on Kahn being able to overextend. Speaking of overextension, Thal's in a little bit of strife.
You can see Hanwha gonna come in with the TP, and SKT actually do respect it, but Thal trying to get on in there. Teddy gonna flash away as his effort, but the big Cataclysm pick to try to save them. And SKT is not gonna try to turn it around. They quickly realized, hey, we gotta turn tail and get out of here.
And FLICKR was evaluating his options when it came to a TP, decided the fight was over, call to remove, they disengage. FLICKR continues to whack away on this inner turret. Casual 44 CS lead, if you don't mind, and 2,000 gold lead for the Maestro of the mid lane.
Kahn doing his thing on the Jace, gonna really threaten Thal here as well. Here we come with the Youmu's. Has to force that flash, and there's nothing that bonO can do.
It already forced out the pull, I assume, to decrease damage, so that's why the flash had to be invested. The next team of playing not going to be as robust. They already left vision, so this is not even an overextension. Bit of a training day here. Feels like when the sports team plays around with the witches' hats, as an Aussie would say. Kahn comes in. Don't worry about it. It's an Aussie thing.
You got the wrong play-by-play with you today. For that reference.
I believe you call them traffic cones.
Oh, the orange
Yes.
cones? Yeah.
We call them witches' hats in Australia.
Witches' hats?
Like a witch, yes.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Witches' hats are black, not orange. But believe what you want, Papa Smithy.
It's literally an Australianism.
Say what you want, Papa Smithy. Oh, boy.
Well, I want to say that SK Telecom taking it in a turret, they've taken it in full vision. It's the right play. It's controlled. They have Clid there for the counter gank as well. Because of the opposition, we can't say it. Everyone wants to say it. You know, they want to say SK Telecom is back. I don't think you can make that inference from this. All we can say is the SKT side of their play is clean. And it kind of whets our appetite. Maybe not for the Telecom war with KT out of form, but they're playing KT for the second time, which means their schedule only gets more difficult as the season goes on. So in about 2 weeks' time, we're going to get the real information on where SKT is at.
They have to run the gauntlet, right? You have to go up against Sandbox, Griffin, Kingzone, Damwon.
Yeah, lots of good teams left, right?
That's the test, right? You know, up against Hanwha, who unfortunately, you know, nothing against them, but they were the forever 6th team, but I think they might soon be the relegation team.
We've got Hanwha, Jin Air, KT that right now feel like the teams that are out of contention for, let's say, Worlds Gauntlet and playoffs. Everyone else is around this. So we don't know about Afrika Genji. They could both bottom out. They could both come back. And if Genji even qualify for the Worlds qualifiers.
Genji have to be in the Worlds qualifiers. That's their zone.
Or maybe you have to gatekeep them from the Worlds qualifiers. Otherwise, of course, they win.
That's true. I mean, I think anything could happen in Worlds qualifiers, right? It would be crazy to say Genji now, but at that time, you know, that's happened many years in a row where people are just like, wait, there's no way that, wait, no, they're in Worlds again. What happened?
It just happens every time, Valdez. And it's funny how they have kind of the Genji like Worlds buff or curse when it comes to that gauntlet. And then the other team in their stead is Afrika Freaks, who, with their young mechanical players, can beat anyone but also lose to anyone. And that's kind of the fun kind of 2 wildcard teams next to just the straight-up top 5 as it sits at the moment.
FLICKR kind of feel like Hanwha of days past, maybe just a bit better compared to Hanwha in the past.
Well, they won't beat you from kind of scouting foreign strategies. Like the other team that played Miami, they tried a lot of stuff. Oh, nice EQ flash.
Okay, bonO. He does literally no damage, though, as Cataclysm, he's going to be relying on sangyoon to come out in here. But, okay, finally gets it to work, as we do have the turret at least taken to the top side.
That was slick. Really nice mechanics there from bonO, but unfortunately hasn't been able to put those to good use so far this game. That was kind of a one moment of a nice little mechanical move, and SKT say, huh, we have teleport on Jace. They're going to recall. Let's start the battle.
Yeah, look at the vision. Finally, they see SKT doing it. And SKT know that, you know, Thal with this TP up and Azir can get there relatively fast. They're not going to take any chances 4v5.
You're wondering, it is a Spellbinder first done by Vladimir. We see this situationally from Nogari as well. It is pretty much, I couldn't get Ghost, I need to take Flash Teleport. I need another way to get into the fight and force it, so I don't mind it. Days like this happen, where FLICKR's just half a second ahead of everyone. We haven't been able to kind of hit the, what would you even call it? I want to say, kind of hit the kind of boilerplate caster points. Boilerplate caster points on FLICKR, you know, like, oh, tell the story about him being 3 seconds ahead, calling them the solo kill and things like that. Like, they haven't been as relevant. He hasn't been poor in 2019, but he's had down games, up games, been a bit seesaw for FLICKR in the last 2 years. So you do enjoy moments to sit back and admire one of the greatest to ever play this game. Walks up the top. Right now he's just gatekeeping a ward. He doesn't want this control ward to go down, but seems like with enough members, he's going to have to back away.
Yeah. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but I feel like those moments are happening more and more often. I don't think they're happening every game or anything like that, but I feel like the tide is slowly turning back to FLICKR. You know, having those highlight moments where you're just like, how does he do it? What was that, right? So, I mean, that's good news for FLICKR fans and SKT fans, but again, consistency is what wins championships. So.
And as, you know, one of our more veteran status players, actually the oldest mid laner in the LCK. It's kind of a weird thing. He was always the young guy, right?
Yeah.
But, kind of the Dark Knight situation of being around for as long as he has is that it's a long season, and peaking at the right time can be big. He was good in MSI, which should be mentioned. So, see how FLICKR's looking as potential catch.
sangyoon took more damage than Clid. I think that was just a burst from Kahn. SKT, meanwhile, having the path on into the mid lane. Hanwha just grouping up in their own jungle, so they could not stop that push. Considering the Baron, as bonO's in an awkward spot here, being chased down now by the rest of SKT, is going to be burst down with no flash and nowhere to run.
Nice and easy, and that's the one you all in on that you didn't have to. That's where you actually make your stand, because that means Smite is down. Wait and see if Key even has a charge of Unsealed Spellbook to try to walk up as Lux. If Lux walks up and steals the Baron, something's wrong. She is super squishy. FLICKR on a very long flank. He won't have perfect execution for this play.
They might have an idea that FLICKR's back here. You see Thal check the bush, tries to land that Hemoplague, but immediately in the back line is FLICKR. The kick is going to go wide as, okay, we're bursting down all the squishies. Nice little sweep there from Lava, but just doesn't matter as they're 4v5 fighting. And Lava kind of messing up the combo on the backside. Nearly kills Clid, but ends up getting baited into it. FLICKR gonna miss that shuriken. Still on the chase as SKT still have nothing to worry about.
Bringing that minion wave, wants to kill bonO again, but dastardly cooldown, not back yet to perfectly execute him 2 times in a row. TP on minion wave to keep it healthy. Base gonna be broken in 2 spots, it looks like, and what is a Hanwha life to do?
Perhaps buy some life insurance, as they're not living too much in this game anymore. Should be the 2-0 to the side of SKT. Clid with the stopwatch here is going to survive on the backside. And SKT not going to take any chances. Will just back away, buy some items with that 4,000 Baron power play, or gold Baron power play, and come back and try to win.
Usually this first look after Rift Rivals is very important for the team coming back. We always say, you know, is it going to be a hangover or are they going to come back stronger? I'm actually really disappointed with Hanwha Life's side of their games today because they've had this entire time to prep for today, and they've actually folded very early in both games. And both these games, they were out of really any sort of competition for each 15 minutes.
Kahn's doing it again here.
Not going to find a solo kill, but all Thal can do is run away. Hanwha Life looked weaker than they did pre-Rift Rivals, and they were definitely kind of rolling over. They had the Ghost Flash Vladimir game, I think, in that one. I'm very concerned about Hanwha Life's level of competition because the LCK has been Jin Air as a no-hoper, and then everyone else has at least their moments. Maybe we do have a real hard bottom 3 in Summer 2019.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that I feel like the top of the line has gotten a bit stronger overall. You know, it's not just SKT and, you know, 1 or 2 other teams. I feel like it really is 5 teams that are quite strong.
All right, FLICKR. There's a lot of bad guys.
Okay, nice mechanics once again from bonO, but no real follow-up. Okay, we're flashing. Key is a little bit too close to FLICKR. That is 5 levels above them.
The global taunt is real. Baron buff. 4 members taking down the last inhibitor turret, and now they want to fight.
All right, the team's coming on in. The kick really not going to do much. Kahn just soloing down Thal as everybody's going to die. Nice little sweep. They finally got FLICKR. I hope they're satisfied with that because that's all they're going to get. SKT going to come on in through here. 27 minutes and a half. And they will take this game away from Hanwha Life Esports.
Can they get their old teammate in Thal? No kick up, they're probably going to let him live, but that's all. Kahn flashes in, easy end to the game, and SK Telecom T1 wipe the floor with Hanwha Life Esports. Confident victory. A very nice way for their fans to feel backing up and improving Rift Rivals performance. SK Telecom T1, 1-5 not long ago, 4-5, part of a victorious team that won against the LPL on the final day of Rift Rivals. Are they back? We can't say it today, but they're looking better, and that's a start.
Yeah, you gotta like the play if you are a SKT fan, especially FLICKR popping off in a big way today. Cannot be dissatisfied with that, but as you mentioned, still more boxes to check, still more good teams to defeat, or at least go up against. So we will have to see how they do once that comes along. I don't actually have more of the schedule in front of me. We do just know that they're playing KT next. Not 100% sure about the game after that.
That'll be their 2 and done for the week, though, so they'll be done on Friday. Playing the first match of the second round robin. What a way to start historically, but not so much in 2019 summer. This SKT should be able to dominate KT and go 4-0 when it comes to recent matches. Tougher times await. And we'll wait and see how they can stand there. Surely FLICKR will pick up the MVP in this game. Hanwha Life Esports, they pack up their stuff, they get out. They need to find a way to get back, Valdez, because right now, maybe it's inevitable with Worlds coming up that the top teams get more competitive, trying to get that best possible seeding, whether it's auto-qualifying, making the final, or making the gauntlet with the seeding, and the bottom teams kind of come to the understanding that the last 8 to 9, 10 months of preparation may be in vain. Every single pro player preps for making the World Championships, but only 15 starters and some squads around them can go each year from each region. The tiers can be held off on. Only smiles today for SKT.
Talking about how SKT are currently in the East League. And yeah, this is just a reference to the standings, how the west side is kind of left side, and the east side is the right side.
I ask you today, does SKT make playoffs?
Yeah, I think so. I would say that they will. There is that 5th spot. I don't currently think that by the end of this summer that Afrika and Genji will finish ahead of them, even if they are ahead of them right now on the standings. Whereas the other 4 teams, I think, are pretty obvious.
Kingzone, Griffin, definitely there. Seems like Damwon is firming, Sandbox, you know, those are ones up there. So you're right, it does feel like there's that one spot, and right now SKT seem like they're going to be in control of their own fate. The 4 Rift Rivals teams in Sandbox, I think, are going to be most people's prediction for top 5, even though there's still work to be done, and even though we need to see SKT do it against the best of Korea. The victory at MSI. Look, it was against TOP, so if you want to be an SKT hater, you can ride away the recent wave of momentum, but if you've watched all the games as you and I have, the SKT side, which was scattered, which seemed very out of order, where their MVP of the entire tournament of MSI could get nothing going from the jungle. These performances increasingly have looked a bit more internally consistent, and I think it's fair to criticize the external consistency because we're waiting on those tougher opposition.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be excited to follow the story of SKT. I think it's going to look a little bit different to
here's one.
2018 spring, right?
Point to one of the top 4 teams that you think SKT can beat. So of the, who can they, we only know so much, and I think the safe choice is they can't beat any of them.
Probably King Zone.
King Zone, okay.
Yeah, I think you need a day where SKT win drafts and Rascal and Cuz kind of just fall apart on the top side. You know, Deft I feel like is always going to be very solid, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be them. Damwon and Sandbox just look quite strong nowadays. It's hard for me to vote against them. And Griffin is Griffin in the regular season. If it were a playoff game, I think probably SKT have a chance to defeat Griffin. I'd add them to the list only for playoff games.
I mean, honestly, we need to see Griffin again, right? Because yes, they were part of a winning squad and had 2 good games, but did lose in that potential clincher for the LCK teams. There was no drama about this series. Unfortunately, from a Hanwha Life perspective, some of their baseball squad, the hop over the wall looks so damn cool on this play as FLICKR just punked Lava. That's the one that still stings afterwards because you know that a better player got you on this day. As SKT were just too good, and Hanwha Life, unfortunately, I wonder who they're facing next. We don't have that right in front of us, but are they hoping for a Jin Air to find some confidence?
I mean, I'll take a look while we are in the interview, just to get a better feel of what the schedule does look like.
Oh no, I've actually got it here. Gen G, Sunday last match.
Okay.
That's an intriguing one. Gen G would do well to win that one and win it big if they're going to make top 5.
And then they meet up against King Zone.
Oh, yeah.
Next Thursday, not tomorroar. Take a listen in.
Speaking more than you'd expect, right?
The flash. Yeah, think about the Azir sec.
I feel the difference. It's a dominant voice is gone, right? Mata is always going to be a dominant voice. Everyone's speaking. Everyone's speaking more than I expected.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, he's, I would assume he's the youngest in the lineup and also the most green.
I'd actually love to maybe talk to Jisan afterwards and say, you've heard kind of all, we always have the end game wrap up kind of Naisu moment. What does it sound like to a Korean speaker in terms of comms with Mata in the lineup and comms with Effort? Because they're very different players, right? One is the bootstrap, you know, big dominant support, and the other one is still kind of finding his way in the pro scene.
I'll take a look at some of the stats there. It was only 2 kills to the side of Hanwha Life. No turrets, no drakes.
It wasn't a perfect game at the start, but when the first death came in, it was just a drake till very late in the game, then just a couple of kills. So pretty confident. You heard the crowd cheering before. That's probably because they saw FLICKR putting on his stuff. Look at that look. That's the look of a man that can punk you on a Kali. KDA may not have been that impressive, but this was a very nice performance from FLICKR.
Yeah, and I mean, all they really have to show is this play, right?
I love what's over the wall. It just looks so good.
It does look good.
It looks scripted.
It's almost as if they intended it to be that way. To be cool. As, yeah, good play from FLICKR.
Take our word for it. You don't need highlights to know.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
Are you looking forward to the Hanwha Life highlight reel for their game?
Oh yeah, nice. What did they even do?
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm going to hand it over to Jisan. Let's hear from FLICKR.
Thank you very much, guys. This is the translation, and we'll be hearing from FLICKR, the solo MVP. SKT picking up 2-0
완전히
victory up against Hanwha
자신감을
Life.
되찾은 듯한 팀워크 그리고
SKT with full confidence.
소감
How do you
들어볼게요.
feel right now?
네, 오늘 경기 2대 0으로 이기겠다 다짐하고 왔었는데
Well,
이렇게
I did really
이기게
wanted
돼서
to win today's game with 2-0
네,
score,
리가
and
끝나고
I'm really happy that I made
바로
it.
복귀하셔서 컨디션 관리하실 때 힘들지
So you
않으신지
barely took a
궁금해요.
rest after Rift Rivals.
생각보다 좀 경기가 빨리 있더라고요. 제가 예전에
Yeah.
잘 몰랐었는데
I wasn't aware of the schedules, but we had a match really quick.
휴식 기간은
So-
팀이 가졌기 때문에
Well, we did have a rest
컨디션 문제 없이
in between the
잘
splits, so
경기할 수 있습니다.
there was no big problem
네, 정말
having short
완벽한
break.
경기력으로 승리 가져왔습니다. 1세트에서 페이커 선수의 시그니처
Game number
픽이라고 할수
one.
있는 르블랑이 등장을 했는데
You played
이번
LeBlanc, which is your
서머에서는
signature
처음
pick,
보는 거예요.
but this
오늘
was the first
조합상
time for the
어떤
Summer
점이 잘
Split.
맞는다고 생각하셨나요?
So where does she
우선
fit or
초반에
connect
조금
perfectly to
이제
today's composition?
팀이 저희가
In
후반
the early,
지향형
well,
픽이다
we
보니까
have the scaling composition,
조합적으로
so
맞춰주기 위해서 픽을 했었고요.
I just wanna manage the
사실
balance with
르블랑은
LeBlanc,
이번 시즌에
and
처음
also
떠들기는 했는데
even though it's the first time playing it for the split, but I have been playing it for a lot of times. So there are, I mean, every champion is available for me to just lock in.
자 그리고 1세트 상대가 오브젝트를 계속 노리는 상황에서
And Hanwha Life was trying a lot of objectives, but it was always SK Telecom stealing them away.
이때 상황 보면서
So let's go
얘기
through the
들어볼게요.
Baron team fight over here.
SKT는 상황을 어떻게 보고 있었는지
What was going on exactly?
일단 테디가 상황을 봤고요.
Well, Teddy was aware of the situation.
네, 이거 사실 좀 바론이 요즘에
So
스킬이
Baron,
좀 뜸해가지고
Nowadays, we haven't seen a lot of Baron steals
한게 굉장히
in
컸고
competitive games, so
한타는 저희가 이기는
stealing that Baron was really huge.
괜찮았어요.
After that, we were able to just win the team fight.
말씀하신 대로 바론 스틸을 했는데 보이스에서 생각보다 클리드 선수의
However, we did hear the mic check after the Baron steal. No one was actually giving him a praise.
네,
Are you
그런
guys a
부분은
bit
일단
serious mode in
엄격하게
games?
들뜨지 않게 좀 잘했어도 못한다고 하는 편이고요.
Well, we're really strict, you know. When even though when they're playing well, I just want to be really strict because I don't want them to get too excited. I just want all the players to remain calm during games.
SKT 선수들입니다. 자 그리고 2세트 픽은 그야말로
In game number two,
픽이라고 봐도 무방했어요.
SKT got all the best champions you guys wanted on your side.
사실 뭐 뱀픽보다는 플레이가 중요한
Well,
부분이
draft
있기 때문에
Doesn't really matter much. I think the play really
많이 쓰는
matters.
챔피언을
So
꺼내기는 했는데
we did go with the champions that we used to play a lot, but
받기보다는 그냥
we really
게임 내에서
didn't think
어떻게
that
플레이할지
the
그런
draft
부분을
went
좀더
as we
많이
planned.
생각했던
We just thought about how we're
그리고
gonna just
페이커
pull off the
선수는
plays in real games.
아칼리를 가져가셨어요. 사실 초반에 굉장히 힘들다면
FLICKR,
힘든
you
그런 건데요.
actually saw a zero, but you ended up locking in a Kali, which is really hard
사실
during the lane
초반엔
phase.
좀 힘들 수도 있는데
Well, it can be a
그냥
little bit
좀
struggling in the early game, but
들어가는 픽을
as a
하면
whole
좋을
team,
것
if I go
같아서
with champion with that goes
네,
in a
정말
lot,
완벽했던
I think I will be able to kind
픽이었습니다.
of help
자,
my
그리고
teammates.
솔킬 장면도 있었죠. 이때 팀원들은 용한타를 이제
So when
대기하고 있는
your
장면이었고,
teammates were preparing
페이커
for
선수는
the
1대1
Dragon
선택을
team fight, you were
하셨어요.
actually
이때
going for a
페이커
solo
선수
kill.
판단 들어보도록
So let's go
하겠습니다.
through highlights together.
이때 아지르가 이 스킬 빠지는 게 보였거든요.
Well, I knew that Azir had his E skill on cooldown, so I was also in a great position. So I was thinking of doing a Dragon team fight at first, but
킬각이 너무 잘
I could
보여가지고
see the angles so clean, so I just did it.
정말 보였던 킬각 그대로 완벽한 솔킬 장면 만들어 내주셨습니다. 자 이제 SKT가 서머 초반에는
So SK
힘들었지만
Telecom, you guys did struggle in the beginning of Summer Split, but
연승에 대한
first round
예언이
Robin
그대로
is wrapping up
맞아가고 있지
in
않나
three
그런
games,
생각이
three
드는데,
matches winning streak.
네, SKT 선수들은 플레이적으로 어떤 점이 가장 좋아졌다고
So
생각하는지
which
궁금해요.
part of mechanics or gameplay has stepped up?
좀 플레이가
Overall, I think our play just got better.
하기에는 좀 다들 여러
I mean,
면에서 지금 좋은 모습을 보여주고 있어요.
we are just showing a lot of great performance in various ways, and also our teamwork is really good. And
연승했으면 좋겠어요.
I just want to keep this momentum going on till the rest of the split.
정말 반갑습니다. 자, 다음 경기 이제 2라운드가
So
시작이
your
됩니다.
next game will be in the second round up against KT Rolster.
2라운드 가고
And
들어볼게요.
resolution going into second round robin.
저희가 이제 1라운드 굉장히 안 좋은 성적으로
Yeah, well,
마무리했는데
First round wasn't really good. It was actually bad. But I want to get a revenge on the teams that we were defeated in round one. And I always appreciate the support from my fans.
네, 언제나 즐거운 페이커 선수와의 인터뷰였습니다. 승리 축하드리고요.
So congratulations
인터뷰
on the win, and this will be the end of the interview with FLICKR, and I'm gonna hand it back to our
SKT의
casters.
3연승
Thank you.
축하하면서 페이커 선수와 함께했습니다.
Thank you, Ji-sun, as always, for the wonderful translation. Good to hear from FLICKR, as always. A happy FLICKR is a quality FLICKR, and he had a quality day today, Papa.
I think we had a pretty quality broadcast too. We got to bring on Candace. Thank you so much, the ultra-talented Candace, for joining us between games, giving us a bit of an insight on the LPL side of things. She's got business to attend to. LPL starts on Friday, so enjoying a couple of days off here in Seoul, South Korea after Rift Rivals. Speaking of after Rift Rivals, SKT 1-5 quickly becomes 4-5. Not their worst round robin ever. That was the 3-6 of, I believe, last year. And now it's all about a better second round robin. If they can get about 6 wins, I think playoffs is guaranteed. 6-3, very doable for an SKT team finding form, but 6-3 requires wins over one of Griffith, Sandbox, Damwon, Kingzone, and FLICKR. So, see how SKT can bounce back, and also how their fellow playoffs aspirers in FLICKR Freaks and Genji do, given they are both on the trail for what feels like 5th place. We're not 100% set, but already it's 2 match wins between, maybe 1, but right now 2 match wins between 4th place and the rest. Tomorrow we have a pretty big banger to open up the day.
Oh yeah.
Damwon Gaming on a 9-series win streak against a Sandbox Gaming lineup, looking to go 8-1 in the first round robin.
Sandbox versus Damwon, the two teams coming up from challengers together and just impressing in a big way, just getting better and better, especially Damwon even going over to Rift Rivals, playing on a big stage in front of a huge crowd and still being able to play to that high level of potency is really good news for Damwon fans.
And then maybe Jin Air has one chance to win. It's a FLICKR in no form and Jin Air with some time away. Maybe tomorrow's the day.
That would be a good way to end off the round 1, of course, but this is going to be the end of our cast here. Hope you guys enjoyed it today. We love you. Good night.
You take me higher when I feel low, make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning.